9 of the FG Series takes us to Spain, where Bastian Tan is on pole from Takeyoshi Nishimoto and Star. Then it's Eddie Hart, teammate Chaos Andale, and Casanova Cornwell. Hachai Cilia starts 7th with teammate Thomas Holtz alongside them. It's Gabriel Barton and Landro Zakaholi to round out your top 10. Juan Villalobos has his teammate Gab Stappen alongside them. It's Rainis Curlis, winner last time out. Tam Andale still recovering from the wrist injury suffered last time out. Then it's Charashua Hidenko, Zbesny, Haymaker, Lima, and Ben Allen Lee, your top 20. The back four of Cosmos Rodices, Spiker, Silky, and teammate Rules. Barcelona plays hosts to the 9th FG Series race in Season 3. Team Kondo are back on pole, all 5 lights go on. As the Barcelona eTrophy is underway with a good start, coming by ways of that 94 car. Nishimoto, with his best career qualifying, can only really manage to hold on to the top 3 because he's got a hard-charging Star going side by side, going down into that opening chicane. Then 9 holding it alongside, but I think Nishimoto's just going to be able to hold on to second place here. Bastian Tan flying with this race lead, an entire second up on the Japanese drivers. They come through turn number 4. A great start then from the Kondo Racing man. A poor start from Chaos Andale, banging wheels there with Cornwell, as it's a time penalty for Juan Villalobos in 10th place, 5 seconds for causing a collision. And it was very much rubbing wheels. Brules has had a pretty good start, but he's got a time penalty for causing a collision. The entire field then very close together, almost going 3 wide. Any wrong move could see a driver crash here. Hopefully we don't see it, as Harishwa banging wheels there with Nick Haymaker, but getting at least past the American driver for a moment. Out in front though, Bastian Tan flying away with this race lead. As we go on to the second lap here in Spain, look at the run that Eddie Hart's got. He's flown up into second place. Curlis getting a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. Hopefully no cautions flying there. Hart pulled to the inside, couldn't get the move done. Ben Allen Lee in amongst the pack, trying to keep it in one piece. And he does, gets past Harishwa there, who's going side by side and dropping down to 19th almost certainly. Bastian Tan with the fastest opening sector. He really is flying. Brules with a 5-second time penalty further back for causing a collision. Once again, they are going side by side, almost into the wall there for the Red Bull of Gabriela Barton. Contact with Hachai Cilia, gets passed by Tam Andale. The German driver certainly is showing off her pace. Definitely should be in the running for that Power Motorsports seat, where we believe there should be some moves. Should have been in the running for that seat, but instead it does seem as if they are going to put a Hong Kong driver of an RQ into that seat, which is definitely not the decision I'd make, as that's forced off the road by Tam Andale. Looking wheels throughout the field. I don't know what is causing these rookie drivers to just bang wheels like that. But who am I to complain? It is certainly very entertaining. Hachai Cilia on the back of Tam Andale, as you can watch side by side, and the caution is waves for Spiker, who flies off into the wall. That right there, the 2311 car, the Mexican driver, having a very unlucky season so far. Was leading the early parts of it, but now out here in Spain. That's going to put the field into a single file line. Hopefully, we're going to see a lot cleaner racing. Bastian Tan has not been a part of this at all. He's got the fastest lap. He leads. If he can lead every lap of the race with the fastest lap, he will be the first man to take home a Grand Slam in the ERL FG Series. As we're green again, and it's a poor start for the 9 of Star. Chaos Andale with a chaotic getaway to move up into 3rd place. Great stuff from the German. Casanova Cornwell very much bottled up behind Eddie Hart, who looks to be trying to make a pass on his teammate. Almost contact between the track houses. They touch indeed. They hold it side by side, locking wheels, and they still touch even more. Forced quite wide. That allows Cornwell to get an opportunity, thought about it at the very least, as they barrel down into the final corner, into the pits for Star. He just doesn't want to be a part of this, and Bastian comes in. Holtz with a time penalty for causing a collision. Quite a way back, and my God! Oh! Upside down and out of the race for Zakar Hidenko. Well, that's a good time to come into the pits then if your name is Bastian Tan. He will re-emerge within the pack. His teammate crashing out in spectacular fashion. I believe that's contact with Thomas Holtz. He's got damage. And we were seeing these guys locking wheels all throughout the pack. We're a quarter of the way through this race. As, that's slow for Takeyoshi Nishimoto. Very poor start. Eddie Hart has taken the lead of this race. A woeful return to green there for the 6 car. His teammate going side by side. What happened there for Takeyoshi to drop multiple positions as we went green? And Chaos Andale not showing too much pace coming out of turn 9. Overtaken by the Japanese driver, who is really needing to get a wriggle on here. Contact there for Andale and Cornwell. We go on board with the 5 car. Very much hustling and bustling with Andale in front, who's going side by side almost with Nishimoto. Looking back with the 19 car as they come through the final corner. Chaos Andale will take this race lead with Eddie Hart diving down into the pits at 15%. So this is the limit for these soft compound tires, and Gab Stappen's doing another lap because of course he is. No, seriously, I couldn't think of a reason for it as they are going too wide, going down the main straight. This rarely ever ends well in this FG series. All you got to do is look back to China. They are banging wheels going down the straight. Cilia getting turned a little as they go down to turn number 1. Somehow that's a lot closer and a lot cleaner than we thought. Look at this, on board with Ben Allen Lee. Star somehow not touching Moises Lima. The sign does say no touching his Star. Oh, that's so close with Hatchai. They keep it clean, however. This is really tense moments, and it's lap 5. These guys driving as if it's the final lap of the Daytona 500. Star looking for the pass on Hatchai Cilia. We look back with the number 9 car because we don't believe that he's going to get past his Tam Andale. Oh, spearing into the wall for Gab Stappen, who's got a rear puncture. Correction, full car puncture. Front wing damage for Tam. Gab Stappen going to try and get it back onto the track. And the Brazilian's got to get it back on cleanly. And no! Hit by Nishimoto. Wing damage offline. Going down on the main straight. And that Brazilian driver with problems in yellows in Sector 3. And a caution coming out for Tam Andale for the second race in a row. And oh! Lebarkson is out. Zakaholi off the track. The cautions come out. Into the pits for the 1 car. Looks like they tried to come into the pits 3 wide. And that just did not work out. Andale involved in yet another incident. Welcome to the big leagues. And it's a double stop down at Hyperdrive Advanced. Bastian Tan reclaims the race lead. We're about to go green again. And we are green on lap 6 of 16. This is the most 2-wide racing that we've seen in the FG series. And it's all happening, you know, outside of the race lead. Look at this. There's Besny versus Villalobos. Both of these guys, feisty young drivers. The Moldovan going up against the Venezuelan. Keep it clean, because we've already had 4 retirements. I believe this race is actually now the race in Spain with the most retirements in any ERL category. This is usually a very clean country when it comes to racing. We don't often see crashes, but I mean, we've seen 4 drivers retire already. Look at these guys as they come through the pack. Nishimoto still trying to hustle that good hot car, just handling quite poorly to a good result. With 10 laps to go, Chaos Andale on the back of Hatchai Cilia. Into the pits for Bastian Tan, so this is now the fight for the lead with floodlights coming on lap 7 of 16. Bastian Tan down in pit row. Look at this for Casanova going side by side with Star. The 2 British drivers fighting over the final position on the podium. As our camera is beginning to suffer a little bit, they are still side by side fighting over third as Cornwell gets past. And that's just what having fresher tires is like. You just have more pace. As you look at this fight, this is for 12th place, not even points. All of the incidents so far in this race, by the way, guys, have not been for points. As we go on board with Nesbesny, just trying to keep it close with the guys in front. Cosmas and Curlis once again banging wheels. We go on board with the 4 car, and he touches Reynos again. Both of these drivers likely to be racing in the A1 GP as Cornwell takes second. And it's more contact there. Hopefully this stays as clean as they can. That 4 car hustled by Holt, side by side. We do expect the guys in front of the impole number 21 to come into the pits. Is that 3 wide, I smell? No, but it is 2 wide between the 4 and the number 10 of Reynes Curlis, who bangs wheels with cars fast once more. Almost 3 wide. Oh, Nishimoto flying off the road. How do you even go off that far? And that strings out the guys behind him into single file. Very interesting, as Chaos Andale is now your race leader. That could have been a lot worse for number 6, who's serving a time penalty. Look at how close he was to crashing out of the race. But he does keep himself within. Eddie Hart running up in 3rd now, a race winner in the ERL. 24% tire wear. I don't know if he's got another lap left in him. I think 5 or 4 could be the limit of these softs, so expect to see the final pit stops around lap 10 through 12 for the Daredevils. Potentially lap 13 if those are the smart guys. Lap 14 for the guys who tried pushing it but just couldn't get it to the end. That's what I expect at the very least, is Eddie Hart coming through the final few corners. His teammates down in pit lane. What tire's going on for Chaos Andale? Well, that Trackhouse pit box, the second furthest down, so we will be the last to know. Let's see what are the tires going on for the German driver of the 19. It's another set of softs. I don't think he'll make it to the end. Moise Clymer also down to the pit side. Casanova Cornwell in the number 5 car leading the pack, with Eddie Hart up in 2nd, but with some very, very worn tires. I'd be surprised if he can get through Sector 2 with the tires that he's got. There's Bestny up in 6th place, holding off of Landre Zacaholi. On board we go with Star, who's looking to the outside of that Hyperdrive Advanced car. Can he get past him as they're going 3 wide? This is close. This is very close. I don't know how they're going to keep it clean. Well, they do. The 8 of Nick Haymaker trying to defend from the 7 of Andreas Bestny. Meanwhile, looking quite further up at the timing tower, at the very least, it does seem like Eddie Hart is slowing, so we'll take a look at him soon. It does seem as if that puncture has come for the British driver. Meanwhile, Star has a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision, and that's contact there for Bastien Tan. There is that full car puncture for the number 20 of Eddie Hart, with the chasing pack getting very close to him then. Chaos Andale rounding the final corner. That could have been a lot worse as Cornwell comes down to pit lane. Ben Allen Lee with a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. The 2. Oh, that's contact and front wing damage for Nick Haymaker. Contact between the 2 target Chip Ganassis. The 2 Chip Ganassis, sorry. 6 laps to go. As we go on board with Star. Should be an easy pass for 4th. And locking wheels there. And oh! Ben Allen Lee and Hatchai Cilia out of the race. Contact there for Moises Lima. And the 2311 car down at the following corner. Look at that. Oh! Million Brulez pitched into a spin. Are those 2 cars still down there? No, they aren't. Brulez is trying to get it back on track. Might take a little bit in that number 12 car. And he does get it back onto the racing surface. If it was under green, that could have been a lot worse, because Nishimoto would have been flying into him. But thankfully, because of the cautions, we can go green without there being another unnecessary full course yellow. But Nishimoto should have a very easy pass here. Chaos Andale trying to chase down Bastien Tan. Well, the number 24 likely going to come into the pits. Don't know how good the hard tires are. That's almost a sideswipe from Juan Villalobos in defense of his 8th place over Thomas Holtz, the South African driver trying to become the first man from South Africa to take a championship in the ERL. JD Venter had a chance to earlier as Cosmas Pedizis with an off, and he's got damage in that number 4 Power Motorsport car. He's got front wing damage. Don't know where the wing's flown off to. And that's surely not going to help the downforce of that machine going through the final few corners. And look at that, he's gone airborne. And oh! Big accident. Nishimoto is out. $5 to go from Spain. Good time to come in if your name is Bastien Tan. Chaos Andale, your race leader, looking for victory, because he's been shown up by his cousin, Tam Andale, winning a race in her debut season. It's Chaos's debut season as well. It's just interesting to note that both Trackhouse Racing and Goodhart Racing have completely different driver lineups for this season. Completely different from what they've been running before. And you can see it. The drivers that they've got there are a lot less consistent. They're a lot more feisty. They've got a lot more bite in them compared to the calculated yet very talented 4 drivers at those 2 teams that they'd been running for the past 2 seasons. I'd go as far as to say that they had a miracle generation, both of them, on their hands. And I think Andale, yes, has come down into the pits with 4 to go. Gotta be very careful with everyone there, as they are going side by side. This the fight for 8th. Almost a bit of contact there for Villalobos going up against Desbesny. But the Moldovan diving down into the pits. That's a smart move from Target Chip Ganassi. I keep saying Target. It's Inters for Chaos Andale. Very interesting tire decision, with major implications for Bastien Tan and Kondo Racing. They came in for dry compound tires, but 2 laps ago. Casanova Cornwell is the only man in front. There's the rain falling on lap 12. This is brilliant news for Trackhouse Racing. Their man in the number 19, Chaos Andale, without delay, is currently set to finally get a race win. As long as there's no full course cautions, something like that, you know, that could ruin his race. Into the pits for Casanova Cornwell at the end of lap 12. Surely we'll see Bastien Tan barrel down into pit row. Eddie Hart as well. Thomas Holtz. Chaos Andale had a very nice out lap there, coming out of the pits, into the pits for Thomas Holtz. And I believe we're riding on board with the new race leader. Chaos Andale on lap 13 of 16 takes the lead at the Barcelona eTrophy as the rain falls. Casanova Cornwell looking for a podium in a very, very tumultuous FG Series campaign. Bastien Tan comes out of the pits in 3rd. And I just want to take a look at these tires. 132%. I'm sorry, degrees. That's degrees for Chaos Andale. So those Inters, very much over the recommended temperature. I think the man with the best Inters would probably be Silky. We'll take a look at his tires now. 123%, still overheating. These tires are either overheating or too cold if you've just come out of the pits with them. What about Million Brulez? What are his tires saying? 106. So that's a lot better, but still not near that optimal temperature window. And that's going to lead to Chaos Andale suffering with his tires still. That's why Cornwell's been able to close in. Because with the Inters, they work better at cooler temperatures than temperatures that are too hot. As we watch the British driver make his way through the final corner. Eddie Hart going side by side with Moises Lima, the Italian, forcing him quite wide, but not off the track. He can do that. That's elbows out from the number 2 car. I don't know what it is about this track, but it is encouraging this type of aggressive racing from these drivers. And may I just say, I absolutely love it. It is the most challenging type of racing to hold on to, as Holtz decides to hold on to that 7th place. And I just want to focus your attention to everyone in the field, actually. They're either on their own or going too wide, as you can see Brulez doing with Reynes Curlis, who's just punched in the fastest 3rd sector. But they are still side by side. The Brazilian driver, can he hold on? Almost forcing his opponent off the road there. But he holds on to 15th place. Technically a clean pass. 72 degrees versus 118. Chaos Andale's tires are still overheating. They've gotten a lot cooler, but they're still not up to the correct temperature. It's a 5-second time penalty for Eddie Hart as we begin this penultimate lap. Once again, forced quite close to off the road there for number 20. Lima, the wily old fox in that number 2 car, doing what he can to defend cleanly, but does seem like there has come a point where he just says, you know what, screw fighting this man cleanly. We are just going to wreck, and you're going to like it. That 20, trying to hold on. He's trying to get down the inside into turn number 4, he think. He's got the lunge. They're going side by side. Hyperdrive versus Trackhouse. And I think Moises is trying to run him off the road still. This is some very, very robust defense, and it's failed for the Italian. Eddie Hart takes 4th place as Holtz trying to take 6th from Star. Well, he's going to have to lose out there. We're about to go on to this final lap. Chaos Andale's tyres still not up to temperature, up to the correct temperature, that is. And Casanova needs to burn all of the attack charge he has. It's got a lot more to use as it stands in comparison to Chaos Andale. But I must say, with that 2-second margin on this final lap, we're about to see another German race winner in the FG Series. Cornwell's punched in the fastest opening sector though, so don't say it's over until the checkered flag falls. The 5 car trying to follow in his brother's footsteps. The 19 trying to follow in his cousin's. This is all about family matters in round 9. And for Andale, 1.7 seconds in front, 1.9 seconds in front. I think he's got it. It's going to be a close finish. Cornwell tried to close in. Andale's tyres still not up to temperature, guys. So it's still not over. He could have an issue in the final corner. But thankfully, for all of the Trackhouse Racing fans, it's not happening. Chaos Andale wins in Spain. Cornwell takes the fastest lap and 19 points for 2nd place. Brilliant points haul for Goodhart, and for Bastien Tan, a podium for Kondo Racing, stealing the fastest lap. It's not the race win that should have come from pole. They just couldn't capitalize with these wet conditions. And the question is, any fights through the field as they make their way to the checkered flag? Well, not exactly. 16 finishes here in Spain as Silky in 12th steals the fastest lap. Here's your podium. You thought that we were going to have a point for the fastest lap awarded today. Well, we did not, but we do get a brand new race winner. Chaos Andale, victorious here in Spain, followed by Casanova Cornwell, whose first FG Series race win is going to have to come in a different location. And Bastien Tan in 3rd, a very strong race for the Kondo Racing man. Looked like he was in control until the water started falling. As for the rest of your finishes, Moises Lima 4th from Star and Thomas Holtz, then it's Eddie Hart, Andre Nesbesny, Juan Villalobos, and Landry Zakaholi, the non-scorers. Nick Haymaker from Silky, Sri Harishwa, Gab Stappen, Renis Curlis, and Million Brules, with the non-finishers being Takeyoshi Nishimoto, Cosmas Fidesis, Ben Allen Lee, Hatchai Cilia, Tam Andale, Gabriela Barton, Zaka Hedenko, and Spiker. Thomas Holtz still leads the points, followed by Gabriela Barton and Juan Villalobos. Then it's Nick Haymaker, Hatchai Cilia, Spiker, Moises Lima, Landry Zakaholi, Ben Allen Lee, Sri Harishwa, Renis Curlis, Tam Andale, Bastien Tan, Eddie Hart. Chaos Andale actually tied on points with Hart and Bastien Tan, 2 points off of a two-way tie for 11th, so that's just how close the rest of the field is. Star is 16th with Zakar Hidenko down in 17th, then it's Casanova Cornwell, Gab Stappen, Andre Nesbesny, Takeyoshi Nishimoto, Silky, Cosmas Fidesis, and Million Brules. So here is what your constructor standings look like heading into round 10. Team Impol lead the way from Red Bull Racing and Hyperdrive Racing Advanced, then it's 2311 Racing, Manor Motorsport, Chip Ganassi Racing, Junior Motorsports, Trackhouse Racing, Kondo Racing, Power Motorsport, Goodhart Racing, and Revolution Racing. Well, there's not too much left in the season to go. We got up to 12 rounds, so that means we're down to the final 3. That's 75 points left on offer. Can Thomas Holtz bring it home in the final stages of this ERL FG Series season? You're going to have to stay here on Spark Plug Motorsport to find out. Up next, it's the Champ Car World Series, so we will see you guys next time then when the Electric Racing League returns.